How's it going, garden people? Welcome to the Hidden Gardens. Let's do a walkthrough for June of the front gardens. The container contains Laguna dark blue lobelia along with 2 sun patient varieties and a grass named variety Fireworks. So it's a nice little 4th of July container mix right there. Newly planted Amsonia by the name of Starstruck is the variety name, which is really pretty. And then we have a Japanese cedar to the right, Cryptomeria, very soft and pretty. Bicolor butterfly bush is starting to bud up in the middle right there. And off to the left, a little Japanese cedar, sky pencil holly that's starting to put on some good growth for the season. And behind that, Temple of Bloom 7 sunflower that's been limbed up. So this year I'm training it even more into tree form. This plant comes as like a big shrub, but you do have the capability to train it up to tree form, which is why those stakes are in the middle. I'm using those to tie branches to form it up so that it'll eventually get about 8 feet, 10 feet tall, give or take. Just a note about weeds, how I'm tackling the war against the weeds is I've got this Proven Winners bucket and I'm trying to tackle it as I go. So I'll fill the bucket and mulch with some pine spruce mulch as I go. So as you can see, I've gotten this little patch weeded and mulched and the rest of it is not. So it's a clear line of weeds versus not weeds. And I think that that's how I'm going to tackle it for the season. And if everything goes right, I'll be done by fall. Right here I have the light post that I have some fishing wire tied around it so that hopefully this clematis can grow up it. I'll put the names that I can on the screen here. I am looking at tags while I'm going specifically so that I can document it for myself and so that you guys can know the varieties. So I'll zoom in a little bit later and add the names on the screen if I can't read it while we're walking through this together. As for this walkway, I'm still debating it, though I think I'm going to lay some cardboard down and cover it with mulch, at least for the season, so that I don't have to think or worry about it for now. But moving along, you can see that some alliums were spared by the bunnies. All the white alliums seem to have come up, so I don't know, maybe they just don't like the white alliums, which is fine. I'll plant a bunch of white alliums around. They did eat the leaves, but the alliums at least did come up. And we've got a dwarf bush honeysuckle right here that's getting quite big. I did not move it. I was thinking about it, and I've decided not to move it. I do like it in this spot, and it's about the 3rd year, maybe 4th, going to the 3rd or 4th year, and it's wonderful. So the variegation usually shows up a little bit later and more prominent as the season progresses, but for now it's starting to bloom out, and the pollinators absolutely adore that plant, so I'm down with that. Summer Skies butterfly bush is starting to come up and come back. That one's really pretty with some light purple blooms on it. Very, very pretty. We like that. Now this weed down at the bottom here, it could very well be milkweed, so we'll see if it can bloom before I get a chance to get to this section. If it is milkweed, I'll of course leave it for the butterflies, but we'll see what comes up. And the sedum is coming in and coming up, so that's really nice to see. I've enjoyed that. That'll be a later bloomer, so that'll be pretty once it comes in. I've got another totally stoked aster. This one is a white variety that's planted over here. I'll put that variety up on the screen. These grasses are coming up and coming along. They get really pretty fall color, like a dark red type situation, so very, very pretty there. And sand cherry, the rabbits definitely enjoy this plant. However, the plant also seems to bounce back really nicely regardless. So once everything kind of grows in, the rabbits kind of leave it alone. and the plant has a chance to kind of go up and come along. So that's what they're doing now. They're coming back from being chewed up. So we'll see if they continue to come along and get a little bit bigger. We've got another container here. I did plant up these containers in a video a little while back, so if you want to know the varieties, go check out that video. I'll link it below. But they're coming along really nicely. I'm really enjoying these planters, particularly. Really filling in nicely. And we've got a dragon prince, black dragon cryptomeria in these pots. And they're very pretty tree, very slow growing. So they've been in these pots for about two seasons or so, and they grow nicely in the pots just alone. So enjoying that, and they take the full afternoon sun, even in the pots, and they're doing well. So again, I'm enjoying these container plantings. We'll see how these potato vines kind of grow in. From what I hear, they get beastly, so it's my first time growing them. We'll see what happens. As far as this salvia, well, this right here is a newly planted Veronica, so I'll put that name up on the screen. And it's grown in quite pretty, really nice. I like the variety, the placement. I've kind of smushed some plants together. We'll see how things go. But why is this flopping? It seems like this variety flops just because it did it the past years as well. So I'm gonna cut it back soon, and we'll see if it flops again. As you can see, this one's planted later than the other one, so it's a year's less later. This I just planted as well, this Veronica. So we'll see about these flopping salvias. I do like them though. The pollinators really enjoy them. So maybe just a cut back, and hopefully the stems will support it from flopping later. This plant in the middle, I can't remember the name of it. It's like looks like, I don't know, exploding fireworks when it buds, but I'm very underwhelmed with those, so I may pop those out and find something better for those spots. These Midnight Sun Wagelias they're there. I planted them at the beginning of this season, so they're not going to do anything interesting just yet. This one made it from last year, so that's what they would look like around this time regular for my Zone 7 Cape Cod area garden. So newly planted versus 1 year planted. So very pretty plant though. Definitely something I like having in the garden and worth repeating as well. As you can see, I put them actually prominently in this middle front garden. And more salvia, more catmint as well. Again, with the pathways, I may reseed more. I may just pull out the pathways and put mulch. That way we don't have to mow it. But I do really like the green in the middle, so back and forth. Churchmark Trilogy Wagelia right here. Beautiful, absolutely pretty. Check out my shorts as I do post things when they are in bloom, if they're not making it into like a garden tour or it's in the middle. So definitely check out my shorts. I go along with music, and it's definitely a more close-up view of whatever is in bloom, and I write a little something about them as well. This is a smoke bush tree. It's a tree. Or it's growing up to be. It'll definitely need some trimming come this winter-spring season. But for now, it's absolutely stunning. I definitely love the color of the foliage, and as the season progresses, I assume that it'll look a little bit more smoky, the flowers parts of it. Silver Mound Artemisia is growing around all over, and it's fabulous. I'm loving that. Really enjoy these containers as well. And then Dragon Prince Cryptomerias coming back a little bit. This one and the one across from it got a little burned, but you know. Here's the Starstruck. Nope, this one's the Blue Star. The other one is the Starstruck. Amnesia. So I just recently planted those. So we'll see how those look once those eventually bloom out, whether it be this season or next. Again, this Cryptomeria Japanese cedar is just lovely. I really like it. It's got really soft texture. I'm really enjoying it. It'll be a slow grower, so it'll be pretty to see when it blooms along. I did leave a little bit of some echinacea there for the bunnies to eat more than anything. We'll see if I get a flower out of it, but more for the bunnies. This sky pencil holly is actually growing back a little bit. If you watch one of my past videos, you'll see I had I did end up cutting out a dying part, so we left it. And I did actually pull up just this one Castle Spire blue holly. All the rest I left because all the rest are coming back. But that one was just, it looked like it was just struggling too much. And planted perhaps just a little bit too high too. So I did replace just that one. Like I said, I left all the rest. So you'll see the bunny damage. It survived the bunny damage and it's coming. They're all coming back from it. So that's a high five at least. Moving along, we've got the Snow Fountain Weeping Cherry that's getting some new growth in, and actually a random cherry or two. It doesn't normally get very many cherries. If it does, it's a sporadic one, and that's because I do have a couple of cherries planted around, so as far as for pollination, but mostly this is an ornamental tree, and the new growth is starting to come in, so that's good. This tree will get about 10 to 12 feet tall and wide, maybe a little bigger, we'll see. I do like the weeping part of it, so I try not to, give it that chopped haircut look. I like to have it, hanging down, so we'll see what that means for the plants underneath it as far as the light turns into more shade. But for now, we've got a couple of Weigelia underneath here, as well as geraniums. The geraniums should be fine in the shade parts of things. As you can see, I have 2 different varieties of geranium, and one of them I thought I was gonna divide because there was like a big hole in it, but I did end up leaving it. I just didn't get to it, and the hole filled in, so there's a positive there. This Weigelia is quite pretty, so enjoying all of these plantings. There's another sedum that I planted fairly recently, and again, things are maybe a little smushed together. I just divided this bee balm into a couple of different plants and actually gave some to my neighbor as well, because it was starting to kind of take over the land here, as well as this one was also trying to slowly creep around. So just a little bit of control and moved around, and we'll see how they come back next year. They're just looking a little rough this year. And a variegated red twig dogwood right here. This one's beautiful. I love this plant in both the summer here for the variegated foliage, but also in the winters. As it bulks up, it gives off those really nice red stems. And it wouldn't be the Cape if I wasn't planting hydrangeas. However, in the full afternoon sun, I lean more towards the serrata type, and then in the backyard are all the macrophylla type hydrangeas that can take just a little bit more protection, just to kind of ease on the watering in the plant and so on. I probably could do a macrophylla up here, but it's just a little bit easier on me and the plant. And as you can see, that grass that I was looking at, I just divided, and thankfully, yay, it's coming back. And here is a sedum that I planted a while back. Again, I'll put the names on there. But at least for me, I'm trying to document what plants are where, particularly because these plant tags, while they are good for a season or two, and you do definitely have to use like the garden marker type, so that the sun doesn't fade them, and as well as place them not directly into the sun to help, the sun not fade and stuff like that. So they do last to a point, but eventually they do fade. So where I'm shooting video, I'm definitely trying to get somewhere in the record of what plants are where, so that at some point, if I need to know a variety or what it is, I can go back and look. So these YouTube videos are definitely helpful in that respect. And again, another case of bunny food. The bunnies definitely were going after this Coreopteris, though as things have grown in and around it, they seem to have left it alone for now. I definitely have a ridiculous amount of bunnies hanging around the garden. So, as you can see there, they've nibbled on that in the past. So whether we'll get some blooms or that plant will make it for the season, well, that'll yet to be determined, but that's fine. That's part of learning as to, what plants make it and what plants don't, and you just adjust and find different plants that the bunnies don't find as interesting. They also do make like repellents and such that you can place around your plants that'll hopefully repel the bunnies and such. But for me, there's just too many bunnies, and I'd be out here all the time just spraying everything and dousing everything, particularly when it rains. While this year we're experiencing quite a bit of drought on the norm, we do get, enough rain and stay humid enough that I'd be out here all the time. So I really try to work with getting plants that the bunnies are either not going to eat, or try to protect the plants enough for them to get established so that the bunnies can't eat them, or at least not completely decimate them. So again, here's the Midnight Sun Weigelia. Again, really pretty plant. I definitely enjoy the foliage. The flowers are cute too, but the foliage on that plant is just lovely. Got some bee balm here. The pollinators do enjoy that. A little bit of powdery mildew on this plant. The bee balm seems to be prone to that, so I think it's worth growing. The plant itself is pretty. It's just kind of staying up on that powdery mildew situation. I hand water this whole garden, front and back. Drip system would definitely be helpful for my time management and such, but I just have not gotten that far. And hand watering is kind of a little bit of a therapy for me. I enjoy it. Some people don't, some people do. I'm one of I definitely like hanging out, and gives me a chance to check on the plants and see how things are moving and grooving and going. This season, as far as the weeds are concerned, I've just been trying to get plants into the ground, both in the front and the back, and worrying about the weeds later. So I'll concentrate more on the weeds during these warmer, hotter days where planting is less, and hopefully I'll eventually get a really good handle on them. But for now, the more plants I can stuff into the ground, then that's the more space that a plant is taking up where a weed would be. Nice big patch of clovers there that I did not plant and is taking over in the grass area. But, again, move along as you can. And here's another Veronica plant. This one's very pretty. I definitely enjoy the Veronica plants. They're very long blooming. The pollinators enjoy them. They definitely are a perennial that stays fairly tight, compact. They don't flop like the Snow Hill, the white salvia that you saw earlier. At least so far that I've seen. They just keep on trucking throughout the whole season. So that's That's definitely a high five type of perennial to have in the garden. Salvia cardona, the purple salvia right there, really pretty. Another sand cherry back there as well. That was recently planted and is hopefully bouncing back. Again with the weeds and working around those. And we've got another sedum here. I can't find the tag for it, so I'm not sure what kind it is, and I don't think I got it in a video, so we'll see when it blooms and what it looks like. And I definitely have a bunch of hardy hibiscus. They're all starting to come in and come up. As far as pest pressure and whether these hibiscus continue along for more seasons, more summers, we'll see. They take up a lot of space. They're definitely beautiful, but the pest pressure and flopping for 2 of them so far have come about, so we'll see what happens. Definitely stunning blooms though, unbelievable. And Tradescantia grass has come in really nicely, so I'm enjoying that. I don't mind if that spreads a little bit more throughout the garden here as time goes on. Definitely a very, very pretty blooming plant so far anyways. Whether it looks a little scraggly later, we'll find out. We've got a Ruby Falls Weeping Red Bud here that's fully leafed out at this point. Absolutely stunning foliage. I definitely enjoy this plant. It's a very compact plant. It'll get about 6 to 8 feet tall and wide. I could probably stake it up to get a little bit taller, but we'll see what I decide to do. Best part about having ornamental trees is you can kind of shift and shape them the way that you would like. Another Castle Spire Blue Holly coming along and coming in. Silver Mound Artemisia is coming in lovely. It's making a nice little hedge along this whole front area, which I absolutely love. I'm definitely enjoying that. That's definitely the effect I'm going for here. And we've got a Blue Kazoo Spirea. I did get a little bit of blooms this year from the plant over to the right side of the walkway here. This one didn't bloom as much, but it's also got more room than it did last year. So maybe next year we'll see. As far as the berries go, it looks like I'm definitely going to get some come the winter. So that'll be fantastic for these Castle Spire Blue Hollies. The berries on these are beautiful and do serve as a good food for the birds throughout the winter. So that's exciting to see. Probably one of my more favorite views in the garden. Again, the Silver Mound Artemisia is just going along strong, and whether I leave the bottom of these Blue Spire for the bunnies to get or not, or maybe I'll protect them, I don't know, we'll see. That's a decision for future me. Again, more hardy hibiscus back there that are trying to flop, so whether their days are numbered or I try to figure out some way to just kind of get them propped up. I do have little, actually now that I think about it, I do have some little trellises, some very small trellises that may help prop those up. Maybe I'll get those out. And I just planted this whirling butterflies, Gura. Doesn't seem to want to make it, the Gura in my area. Gora, how do you say that? The one to the right is coming back, but the one that was planted there definitely didn't make it. So I usually hit or miss for me for planting Gora. So we'll see what, I really like the look. So beautiful plant. So, if you can't make it the first time, it's no reason why you can't just keep trying at least 1 or 2 more times. And if it still beats you, then it's time to kind of think about something else. But But everything's growing in and growing up. Again, I'll have some really pretty flowers come midsummer out of these hardy hibiscus. This butterfly bush I may take out and then kind of scooch over that hibiscus just a little bit. The water line is right under here, so that's a little concerning, but whether these hibiscus roots are able to get through that water line is a different story, but so far I don't think so, because I definitely have to water them. Though, as for the butterfly bush, it's a bicolor butterfly bush, and it definitely struggled to come back from the winter. As you can see, the other butterfly bicolor bush was huge compared to this one, which is struggling. So I may move it or just take it out and, gift it away. Can't find the tag for this plant, but I'll try and look back, because I know in a past video I planted it, so I'll look back to put the name on the screen. And this Castle Rouge, how do you say that one? This one's coming back as well. That's the pollinator for the Castle Spires, and it's got really pretty coloring on it too, so definitely excited that that's coming up and coming back. This Dragon Prince Cryptomeria is okay. It's got a little bit of the winter burn, but it should come out of it. Very, very awesome plant. I definitely enjoy those plants. And another Silver Mound Artemisia, and back over to the geraniums as well. And again with the walkways, seeding more grass versus mulch. What do we think? What's the votes? Drop it in the comments. Another pretty view that I enjoy throughout the garden. So that takes care of these two beds over here. So we'll move along to the other beds. Nice little backup view of both of them. This one definitely has some space to add more, so I'm on the lookout. And I do have a couple of plants off to the side as well that still need homes. Definitely some plants in the backyard that are looking for their forever homes as well. So the gardening is definitely a fun adventure that is always in the state of continuing. Just a little appreciation moment for these glow stick Japanese hollies. Absolutely beautiful. I completely enjoy the little pop of color right there. It's like a neon type of color over like that yellowish color, so I definitely enjoy that. Tina Sargent crab apples that are starting to form up there, little berries that'll look really pretty during the winter, so that's good. And we've got this next bed with another crab apple coming along. I really enjoyed these two plantings. I like that I have these little like lollipop type trees in the front entryway leading up to the front door. Definitely pretty pleased with my placement and decision there. Again, some repeats as far as the walkways go. I try to not exactly mirror, but bring a nice balance and kind of mirror, on one side to the other, depending on the walkway that you're walking along. This catmint in the middle, Blue Wonder catmint, is huge and flopping now and ready to be cut back, and it'll flush up again. Another salvia that's getting a little rowdy there. This salvia on this side was planted fairly recently, so it's not as far along as this side. But the pollinators definitely enjoy the salvia, so I'm all about having all the salvias in the garden. Again, with the glow stick neon moment, definitely enjoy that. Looks very pretty with the purple, I think. This is the more purple bed. As you can see, I had the pink bed over there, and this one is definitely more of the purpler bed. Dragon Prince Cryptomeria, again, and those I have dotted around on the walkways, and I love those plants. And another sand cherry that's starting to come back now that it was eaten by the rabbits, but that's always a good thing to have if the plants make it, and start bouncing back even after the bunny pressure, then that's a good thing too. War on the weeds is never ending. There's definitely the clovers are trying to take over, but compared to the other weeds that I had going on here, I definitely noticed a difference from the bunch that I did pull last season. So you do make an impact as long as you just keep at it and keep going. We've got a Miss Lemonabelia in the middle there. Absolutely love that plant. It's so cute. It's just the cutest plant. Got a couple of irises that bloomed really pretty. Again, you can check out the shorts to see those because they are past their bloom now. This one actually flopped over and I had to stake it. But all the other ones stayed up really nicely. That one, I think it was a particularly windy day and it was in full on bloom. So I think it just got too heavy. This is definitely a plant that I've planted, so I got to be careful not to pull it. I think it gets darker. It might be a type of ajuga. I'm not sure. Hopefully I named it in a past video, and at some point I'll go back and check it out. I've got a Dark Night Cryptomeria right here. This one I totally enjoy. I definitely like the blooms of it. It blooms later in the summer season, and I definitely like this plant. It's held up. It does really nice. It's very pretty blooms. And we've got a Summer Wine 9-bark right here, which is really pretty. It's a bit of a slower grower. That may be because I have it over here more and more shade. But it's doing well. It's holding up and trucking along. Another Japanese holly that is also coming back in the dead part that occurred that I cut out. So it's always good to see plants coming back. I just planted this crepe myrtle here, this Purple Magic crepe myrtle. Whether I keep it a multi-trunk, it's like 2 trunks right now, that I did have to kind of separate because they were kind of rubbing up against each other. So I did push them apart a little when I planted them. So whether I keep it the 2 trunks or I cut it down to 1 trunk remains to be determined. But another container here that matches the other one on the other side. And the Castle Spire holly that is there. It's growing along. It's coming back. That one will definitely need to be protected from the bunnies come this winter. This Pierre's japonica the variety is Red Mill. It's a more compact variety, and as you can see, it's got some new growth. It was in its can for a while, so it definitely struggled, but it's coming back. It's definitely glad to have been planted. New growth is coming. It even bloomed for me a little bit, so I'm excited about that. A bunch of hellebores planted up underneath it, so those will kind of grow and have a nice ground cover throughout the winter seasons. Into the spring seasons, the flowers are adorable. Toxic plant, however, so mind where you put your toxic plants. These front gardens are in the front and the kids play in the back. The dogs have their own dog yard area, so I don't worry too much about what plants I plant up in the front area. Got a Boom Chocolata geranium right there, as well as the Baptisia that was behind it. I believe it's Blueberry Sunday. And right here is a Tough Stuff hydrangea. And the little blue stem grass that I divided, I didn't kill the plant, so that's fantastic, as well as the other side is coming along. And then I realized that this is a Veronica plant, and really pretty too. Look at the little green tips on the edges of it. Fantastic. I'm so glad that plant, that I didn't try to pull it. And here we have a Ruby Tears crabapple that a little bit of a rough condition, but so far so good as far as it's come back. It's growing along. I think it just needs some time to kind of settle in, as far as, definitely pretty foliage. I like the green and purplish type tinge to it. So pretty crab apples that it gets on it. So we'll see how that plant kind of forms up and goes. Definitely needs some shaping. These garden beds are filling in and moving along. Things are changing, things are staying, and that's the name of the game when it comes to gardening. But when things are fully in bloom here is just a fantastic time to be able to not just enjoy the garden, but see what else is enjoying the garden. The pollinators are just magnets to a lot of these plants. The rabbits, while I got to be careful for planting, are still entertaining for me to be able to watch, and they enjoy the shades of some of these plants. And I've definitely seen a bunch of little teeny baby bunnies just running around in here. So, that's probably the funner parts of things. Another hydrangea over to this side, and a Roseanne geranium that's peeking out behind it, along with a bunch of hellebores. The Roseanne geranium's definitely a cool little plant there. It kind of climbs up and out and around plants, and that's just adorable. I definitely like that. Coral bark, Japanese maple, the Sango kaku, definitely a fantastic plant. Trees should get about 15-20 feet tall, about 15 feet wide or so. I'll definitely limit up, but definitely a pretty tree. It's in like the part mostly full sun area over here where it's the afternoon shade, so afternoon sun, so it's definitely, it takes it. Another Dragon Prince Cryptomeria over here that got a little bit of a winter burn, but it's, as you can see, it's flushing out with new growth, so that's exciting. Eventually it'll kind of cover that burn. And even the hellebore plants, the flowers are still kind of sticking around, so that's cool with me. Yellow twig dogwood that bloomed out this year. Really pretty, just, white blooms, nothing fancy, but just, pretty addition to the garden. Of course, it's a showstopper in the wintertime, and it's finally kind of coming into its own. It got moved around a couple of times before it's finally landed in this spot. So for the winter season here, I may do a little bit of cutting, but I haven't done any so far. And this Castle Rouge, I think is the right way to say that, is coming back. And I will probably try to protect that over the winter as well. Let it get it up to a little bit of a higher height before I let the bunnies kind of limit up on the bottom. And I just planted these Loropetalum as well as this Japanese sky pencil holly. Replaced the one that died that was there. So we're looking at it and we're going, okay, well, we got some new growth. Let's just keep it established. So these Loropetalum and the Japanese holly, we're making sure it stays watered throughout the summer. And a baby blue Bruce spruce that you can see there's very troublesome weed that's burrowing up in there. I'll have to remember to get in there and get that out of there so it doesn't climb up the whole plant and kind of choke it out. That's definitely what's going on through the woods off to the side there. So it's trying to come through. But these Loropetalum, I definitely like these looks. So cross your fingers that they are here next season and they make it through the winter, because they didn't, and I've replaced them with newer plants for the season. Definitely another one of my favorite views here. Drop in the comments what kind of things that you want to hear about the garden. Do you like hearing about the plant varieties? Do you want to know more about the stories behind the plants, why I planted them there or such? What kind of things do you like to get out of your garden tours? Do you just like to see the plant and know what kind it is and go from there? Or do you want more of a story for things? Is it worth it for me to get a microphone and to really kind of stop at each plant and detail the stories as I go along? Drop it in the comments what kind of things you want to hear. Lavender twist redbud, that's leafed out, and that's fantastic. And another castle spire that's come back. That's another one we'll try and protect over the winter from the bunnies because it's just too small. But that's, at least they've come back, which is, I mean, that's the fantastic part, is that even though the bunnies kind of pretty much decimate them in the winter, they've come back. So that's, you know, they're pretty hardworking, sturdy plants there. More with the Tradescantia grass that's really pretty. And those pots back here, there in the containers, I've enjoyed those. The heliotrope is iffy, but we'll kind of see how it looks once things kind of heat up a bit. I think that plant likes more heat. And I may also stake up this redbud more so that it gets taller. Actually, I probably will, particularly that limb, so that it gets tall enough, at least to the height of the Ruby Falls redbud across the walkway there. Another Roseanne geranium right here that is kind of struggling throughout the beginning of the season here, and I think that that's because the sun was kind of beating right down on it. As that hardy hibiscus kind of grows up and gives a little bit more shade, it should do okay. But whether it stays there is a different story. This Veronica, aside of the salvia laying on it, is starting to gear up as well. Again, I can't say enough about the Veronica plants. Really great little plants for your perennial garden, as well as these salvia. This salvia is a Cardona, and then a new addition, which is called a Wolf Eyes Pagoda Dogwood. Now, this one I saw at the Barnstable County Fairgrounds. They have a really mature dogwood tree that's there, this exact variety, and I had been on the lookout for it, and I finally saw it at the garden center, and I just could not pass it up. I put it right in my cart. I started to walk away, and I was like, what are you doing? Put it in the cart. You're never gonna, you've been looking for it. Why are you walking away from it? And I just turned right around and got the cart and put it right in, and that's that. And I'm pretty sure I'm gonna plant it here. They have it in like the full sun, and it seems to do okay. It is more, the dogwoods are supposedly more of a understory tree, so this area does get a little bit of part shade, at least more so than the rest of the sun. It definitely gets the afternoon sun, but throughout the day, it's a more shaded bed. Compared to the other beds, the other quadrants in this area. So I think that it'll fit right in. It'll fit underneath that coral bark to the left, and it'll fit around that baby blue to the right. It doesn't get too big, about 12 feet tall and wide, give or take. So I think that'll be a great addition, and I'm pretty excited about it. As long as I can get it to survive until I can get it planted, and then get it to survive after planted, it will be all good. So I hope that this video inspires you to get out into your garden and continue along on your gardening journey, whatever that looks like for you. And thank you for coming along on mine.